this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred. And I understand that, but I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done.
Is it just me, or does Zelenskyy look like he's Trump's child? And he just got in trouble at school, and now Trump has to talk to the principal?
You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough. But you're never going to get a deal that way, so that's the way it goes. All right, one more question.
Hey, I want to respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the President of the United States' words mattered more than the President of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
And see, this is one of the things that made me like Trump a lot. I do not like war. I find it to be extremely disrespectful to young people, specifically young men, because you're being shipped off to fight wars for fat cats that don't care about you, that don't care about your well-being. You run the risk of losing your entire life, causing so much pain for your families back home. And all for what? Because these men in suits can't get their shit together? The very people signing you up for war are the very same people that's not going to be out there fighting alongside you. Trump talked about this during his Joe Rogan interview. He talked about how he does not want us going into another war, that he wants our troops to be safe. He does not like the idea of your sons, your fathers going out and putting their lives on the line for literally no reason. I completely support this message of diplomacy over just trying to incite violence every step of the way. But at the same time, both parties have to come to the table ready to talk. And it seems like Zelenskyy is not trying to talk.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact line?
2015.
2014.
2014 and 2014.
2014.
Yeah. So
I was not here.
Yeah, but
that's exactly right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, the situation the same. The people have been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him, me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. Ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed him with gas contract. Gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners.
And see, that's a fair complaint to have, right? Like if you have a ceasefire with someone and then they continue to fire on you, like that's obviously a problem. But this is just going to go left. I'm pretty sure y'all have already seen this clip. This is about to go left so fast. He has a valid point here. You can't come into negotiations and behave like you got it going on when you don't. And you're going to get what you want better with honey, okay, than a stick, because we have a bigger stick, okay? You don't have a stick that can compete with the American army and military. Because he has a valid point here, right? If someone has a ceasefire and you continue to fire on them, then you're violating that ceasefire. And that's a problem. In order to get a solution, this is the exact opposite way you handle the situation. Keep watching.
But he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
And see, that question right there, the way he phrased it was inherently disrespectful. Maybe he should have just had a translator speak, because Ukrainian is his native language. English is not his first language. So maybe he should have had a translator translate what he was saying and basically make it make sense, okay, in a way that's not disrespectful.
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring it into this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them.
And I don't know if you guys caught that. You know, someone else had to bring this to my attention, and then I did my own research. Zelenskyy literally just called JD Vance a B.
You should be thanking the president for trying to bring it into this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President.
He called him a Mitch, okay? He called him a Mitch in Ukrainian. If you like JD Vance or not, it doesn't matter. You don't go around disrespecting our leaders like that. And he understood that JD Vance and Trump don't speak Ukrainian, so he was like, oh, I'm gonna get away with saying this if I say it in my native tongue. But he ain't getting away with it because people caught it. Our people have been funneling money into your war. You're taking money out of our country to fund your war. The least you could do is be respectful to our leaders. Do not bite the purse that is funding your BS. If you really trying to buck up, say it in English. I know you know the English word. Say it in English. And see what happens. He had to have known if he had said that in English, oh, it would have really went down.
On a propaganda tour, Mr. President, do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems, even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future.
Excuse me, what? I don't know if everybody else is picking up on that, but that sounds like a threat to me. What you mean we gonna feel it? How, sir? How are we gonna feel it? What you trying to say? Because last time I checked, we could blow you to smithereens and it'll probably save us some money if we did. Who you think you talking to? After you done taken so much of the American taxpayers' dollars, you talking about we gonna feel it? How, Sway?
God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know
bless.
that.
You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly what
this.
you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very begining of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now.
That New Yorker came out of Trump so fast. He went straight up New York on that ass. And he's right. You don't have the cards. We've been funding your BS. You can't do this without us.
With us, you start having cards. Right now, you don't. You're playing cards. You're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people.
Exactly. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. And see, this is one thing you cannot say about Trump. You can't say he doesn't care about the lives of people because he does not want us in war. He wants to avoid World War III at all costs. But at the same time, you can't let somebody like this come into the country in your office and disrespect you and the American people in such a salacious way. People like Zelenskyy and then the other military warmongers that we have in our own government, they do not respect human life. They will gamble with your life so frivolously because it's not them who's gonna feel it. It's not them that's gonna feel it. They're not gonna be the ones on the front lines. They'll send your children to go fight on the front lines, come back maimed or deceased, so they don't care. But each and every single casualty of war is a family, people that are loved by somebody. And it's disgusting how easily these people want to just just go into war and not consider how they can handle it as peacefully as possible. Zelenskyy does not care about the Ukrainian people, clearly, because while he had a valid concern about Russia reneging on the ceasefire, if he had handled this conversation way better with more class and more dignity and more respect, that would have been something that him and Trump and JD Vance and Marco Rubio, all these people, they could have worked something out to figure out how to make sure that does not happen again. But you come in all disrespectful, like you got the biggest nuts in the room, and then Trump is gonna have to pop out and show niggas.
You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III.
It's my understanding that Zelenskyy was asking for U.S. troops to help them fight. That immediately means that we're in World War III, damn near. Because at that point, we're fighting Russia. That's World War III. Because as soon as the United States puts troops in the front lines of this war between Russia and Ukraine, guess who else is gonna jump in? China. All these other places are gonna start jumping in, and next thing you know, we're losing loved ones. All for what? Because you can't sit your ass down and humble yourself? People like this make me sick.
And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's back to you. Far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once? This
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
have you said thank
Even
you?
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can...
not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country's in big trouble.
This is what I call a united front, and I love to see it. I love to see it. JD Vance and Trump are working very well together.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No.
Can
You've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning.
I know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of coming out okay because of us.
Mr. President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are saying...
You've been alone? Then what was that $350 billion that we sent y'all along with military equipment? What you mean you've been alone? If that's the case, send us our money back.
I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet.
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through
I
this
said
stupid
thank you.
president, $350 billion.
You voted
We gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment.
You
and your
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about
If you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
you invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
And that's facts. Russia would have taken you out so quickly. You're not capable of handling that type of war. You needed our help. So how dare you come into our country talking about you were in it alone?
In 3 days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days. This is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks. Of course,
It's
yes.
going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I
Again,
tell you.
just say thank you.
I said a lot of
accept
times
that
thank
there,
you
accept
to
that-
American people.
Accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong.
I think JD Vance is being very level-headed in this conversation. I think that he's being extremely level-headed and trying to steer the conversation in a better direction, but Zelensky's acting like a little petulant child. And even his body language and demeanor, it screams child. And it's just like, you playing a grown man's game. Get your shit together.
We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand.
I
I
agree
think it's very
too.
important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the
I'm
cards.
thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
tell you
You're
again,
running low
I know.
on soldiers.
Don't-
Listen,
don't, please,
you're running
Mr.
low on
President.
soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And
President.
then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I want this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're
I
saying
said-
you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
with guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't
doesn't
with
matter
me.
for you what-
That
what
wasn't
this
with me.
means. It
That was
wasn't
with
with you.
a guy named Biden who was not a smart person.
This
That
is
was
your-
with,
this
that was
is
with
your-
a,
I'm here catching strays. Let that man rest in his retirement home.
President, it was your president.
excuse me, that was with Obama who gave you sheets and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
I understand the concern of Russia reneging on ceasefires, but this is not how you go about solving that problem, by bucking up. Calm all that down, little man. We as an American people cannot allow these other countries to spend our money and then come on our soil and talk crap. And I'm so glad that Donald Trump and JD Vance sat his little ass down. And next time you come back, make sure you got some act right.
I think I'm entitled. I don't give a damn what you think you are entitled to.